Okay, so what I've got here is an edge glued panel. It's like the tabletop. You go to Home Depot and they have different sizes. Basically, this is what it is, edge glued panel. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to put a name on here so I can hang it up on, on a wall for some wall art. So I'm going to, the name is going to be cut out of a different piece of wood and then glued down onto this one. But what I want to do, I found center on this wood. I want to take and I want to etch the outline on here. So when I go to put those words on, those letters and the name and everything, when I go to glue those down, it's etched in there. I'm gonna just do a line, and that way I can line it up. Everything is square. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to open up Lightburn here. Now you can see here's the name. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. So that's my name. So I've got the top name is going to be 2 layers. So the black is going to be the base layer and then another layer on top of that. And then this is going to be a layer over here. So what I'm going to do is I only want to etch the outline of the base layer and this name down here because this blue layer is going to be etched into this layer, just a line, so everything's all centered. So what I'm going to do is I've got up here, you can see on the 36 watt, I'm running at 250% power and 60% speed. And that's going to give me a nice deep line. Then this bottom is going to be stained, and then the name is going to be painted and everything. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got our wood in there. Our laser is ready to go. Going to turn on air assist, since I can never remember to do that. And now I can go ahead and I can etch this black layer, but I do not want this circle right here, so I'm going to delete that. So I'm just going to etch this black outline of this name up here and the black outline of this name here, and that is it. So let's go ahead and we're going to frame that, see how that looks. And I think I'm actually going to take this. No, I'm not. I'm not going to make any changes. We're going to leave it just like that. So let's go ahead and burn this. Looks like it'll take, we are looking at about 45 seconds according to Lightburn. So, all right, let's go ahead and start that. Starting in the center. Everything is on. Air assist is on. I think we're good to go. And I output both of them. Of course I did. But that's all right. Okay. So I forgot to turn off, I always forget something. I forgot to turn off the blue layer, which is the inside of the letters. That's okay. It's not a big deal with this because it's going to be covered up with the outer layer is all going to cover that up and be glued. And then the E, L, I, J, A, and H are going to be glued onto that layer. So this is 2 layers here, 1 layer here. But now when I cut those letters, I know exactly where to line them up and I'll be dead center on my board. Okay, so here's all the layers that we're going to end up burning for this little project. This is actually pretty quick. It takes longer for the paint and the stain to dry than it does really to do anything else. The cutting and gluing is going to be relatively quick. So what we're going to do, this is going to be our bottom layer right here on, right here. So we have this one, Elijah. The black is actually going to be the bottom. And then I'm just going to take that red line right there and I'm going to engrave that. And then this blue Elijah up here, I'm going to actually move those when I cut them out. Now I've got a little line so when I go to glue those, that they'll go right on there, just like that. Okay. So that's all I'm doing with that red line is I'm just scoring a line in the wood just to give me an outline to glue this layer onto. So this is actually going to be 2 layers. This is going to be the 1 single layer down at the bottom. So what we're going to do is, and to cut these, I'm going to using the Wizmaker L1, the 36 watt. I'm going to cut it 90% power, 25 millimeters a second. The engrave is 250 millimeters a second at 60% power. That moves pretty quick. It'll give me a decent line without going too far into the wood. So now with that, you can see I've got several different colors of wood here. So I've got this. This looks black. It's actually like this charcoal, and I've used all matte colored paint. So this is like this dark gray. This is a teal. This is like a sky blue, a baby blue, and then the bottom layer over here is a white over on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm not real sure what color scheme I want to go with. So what I'm going to do is I painted all these, but I'm going to come up here. These 3 things that I'm going to do right here, I'm going to cut those in each one of those pieces of wood. And then I'm going to just mix and match them when I go before I glue them on to see what color scheme I'm going to like best. And we'll go from there. So with that, let's go ahead and get our laser turned on and get these wood panels pinned in so they don't move and they don't bow, and we'll get to cutting. Okay, so now I've got my pins in, and that keeps my edges from bowing up. Sometimes they do, but I am noticing that in the center it's a little bowed, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Basically what I'm going to have to do is I can't just set this thing and walk away because my focus is out. This is real thin wood. It shouldn't make a ton of difference. But I'm probably just going to hold this down as it's cutting just to keep that focus set. So if you guys have to do this, just be real careful, especially when it goes to move down and it moves to a different section that's going to cut and it moves faster. So just watch that. But that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and we're going to get this thing framed. I'm going to start up here in this corner. Now, as you guys can see up here, red's going to go first. So it's going to engrave that red. Then it will cut out the black. So it'll cut out the black part of Elijah, and then it'll cut out the black part where it says Edward, and then it'll come out and it'll cut the blue. So it's always going to do in the order red, black, blue that you have up here in your cuts and layers. So let's go ahead and select Wizmaker, which means I'm going to have to flip my image. Yep. And we will flip it. All right. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to do preview. And the preview says it should take about 6 minutes and 31 seconds to cut. So I got to do that 5 times. So no problem. All right. With that, let's go ahead and we're going to select the top left corner. And we'll move it to the edge here. I'm running about 279 millimeters at the largest, and I got a 300 millimeter piece of wood, so it's going to take up most of that. Let's go ahead and frame. And that frame's really good. Let's go ahead and start cutting. All right, guys, so that was a fun little project. I mean, like I said, it wasn't real hard at all. It took a couple of minutes to design. The longest part about that was painting the wood, letting it dry, staining the little tabletop thing that I used, and letting that stain dry. But other than that, this was a super easy project. Probably about, once I figured out what colors I actually wanted to use, to glue everything down and cutting everything out, you know, all that I cut out, you know, took about half an hour itself. But if I'm just doing one cutout and I know what color I'm using, I mean, you can do this in probably 10 minutes after all the painting and all that. So as you guys can see, this thing turned out pretty well. So this is just going to be a little piece of wall art. Got a little picture hanger on the back. We'll put a screw up on the wall and hang it. So that's exactly what I was looking for. That's what they wanted. So that's what they're going to get. So once again, guys, thank you for watching the video. Thanks for sticking around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button over there. Make sure you hit that like button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.